What's going on YouTube? This is the Boxing Theorist, and this is my post-fight reaction for the Tony Harrison and Sergio Garcia fight. That was the undercard, second to the main event, which was the Fedor and Lubin fight that happened yesterday. Um, Tony Harrison looked great. You know, I know Tony Harrison ever since that Jamel Charlo loss. As a matter of fact, his last fight I think was against the guy who was on who was the first event on that card that was televised, which was Bryant Perel, which Tony Harrison ended up getting a draw. That fight he got a split draw if I'm not mistaken, and you know his fight against Garcia last night, man. I mean he was pop shotting Garcia all night, having his way. Garcia might have I only gave Garcia like one round at max two. You know, Tony Harrison did a phenomenal job using his jab. He was utilizing his footwork, using the ring and countering Garcia off of the ropes. Um, I mean, the dude just did just he just put on the boxing masterclass match. He put on a boxing clinic. All right. Tony Harrison, man. I mean, it looked bad, man. It was embarrassing. If I was Garcia, I'd be embarrassed the way I got pop shotted like that, man. Counters on top of counters, and it eventually got to a point where in the later rounds, Tony Harrison he he was able to initiate the attack because Tony Harrison is not normally a guy who initiates an attack. Um, he normally sits back and wait for countering opportunities, but he had Garcia so open and frustrated to the point where he was able to, use his jab to follow up with whatever combination he wanted to throw, man. I mean, he was using that jab of his beautifully. So, um, I'm excited to see Tony Harrison. To be honest with you, I wouldn't really want to see Tony Harrison versus one of the Charlo boys again. Let's say that Brian Castano were to win that fight between him and Jamal Charlo. I would rather see Tony Harrison versus Brian Castano. If it were to lead up to Tony Harrison taking on, um, you know, either Jamel Charlo or obviously Fundora is about to face either one of those guys. He should get that shot before Tony Harrison. But I'm just saying, let's say that Jamel Charlo were to dethrone Fundora, or after beating Castano, if that were to happen, well, I would prefer to see Tony Harrison versus. I wouldn't want to see Tony Harrison versus Jamel Charlo again for a third time. Just wouldn't do anything for me, and I believe that it would probably be the same outcome. So, but anyway, Tony Harrison, man. I mean, phenomenal, phenomenal fight. He did his thing. He looked spectacular, and man, it was a point. I mean, Garcia he really wasn't using his jab at all. He and actually that showed that right there is an example of what I mean when I say that the jab is the most fundamental punch in boxing. And you can tell the difference between the skill gap as far as the guy who's using it and the guy who's not. You can clearly tell who's capable of having a better time when you're using your jab. All right. So Tony Harrison, um, the fact that he was able, the way he was shifting directions and sidestepping, you know what I mean. He would be side pedaling to his right and then just off the reflex automatically shift his weight to go towards his left. I mean, the dude was sidestepping Garcia, giving himself angles to be able to, uh, pop shot the hell out of Garcia. Garcia just couldn't do anything with it. He didn't have good enough feet. He wasn't cutting off the ring. He was following. Garcia was following um, Tony Harrison around the ring. He wasn't cutting the ring off. You know what I'm saying? And that goes back to what I said in my last video, where when you're getting frustrated, it could really take away from the cerebral part of staying cerebral. It can take away from you staying cerebral and thinking in there. Okay, you forget the fundamentals because you're just getting frustrated. It could either do two things. Being frustrated can do two things. Okay, it could either entice you to throw more punches and lose the fundamentals and just do whatever you want to do and get countered, which will open up opportunities for your opponent to counter, or it can force you to shell up. Now, Garcia showed heart, and I mean, I got to give him that. The man was still walking through Tony Harrison's punches. Okay, I mean, he was still walking them down, but that's not good enough. You got to use your jab. You know, you got to go to the body. Garcia was head hunting, which allowed Tony Harrison to be more evasive. You know, I mean, like I say, guys like Tony Harrison, they'd rather you throw to the head because they know that they can rely on their reflexes and timing and rhythm. You know what I'm saying, to evade shots, whether they're on the ropes or in the middle of the ring. They want you to throw to the head. You know. It's easier to counter that way. You know, the body's a bigger target, so Garcia should have went downstairs more. I don't even recall his coaches telling him that. You know, I didn't hear not obviously they were speaking some other language. So but when the narrators were translating, I didn't hear, as far as I know, I didn't hear Garcia's corner telling him what I just stated. Go to the body. He had Tony Harrison up against the ropes a few times, but would just be head hunting. So that's really all I got to say on that fight, man. Tony Harrison did his thing. I'm looking forward to seeing what he has in store next. He just earned a fan in me. You know, I like Tony Harrison prior, but I mean, to be honest with you, my first time seeing him was that first fight that he had with Jamel Charlo, where it was a controversial win going in his favor. They say that he won due to having the cleaner shots, and Jamel Charlo was essentially, he wasn't really educated, staying educated that fight, while Harrison was using his jab, like he, did in the Garcia fight. But the difference was that he wasn't really letting his hands go enough in that fight for me to think that he won. I thought that Jamel won that first fight. And then the second fight, we all know that Jamel Charlo bit down on his mouthpiece and went for the kill, and ended up getting Tony Harrison out there. He didn't want to leave it to the judges. So, which is a smart thing to do. If you can get him out of there, do that. So yeah, man, that's really all I got to say. Tony Harrison, congrats to you for the win. I'm happy for you, bro. You just earned a big fan, a big time fan, cause I love boxers like you, man. You guys are something special. When you're able to make people miss and just counter all night, that's special. Obviously, Garcia, he lost to Fundora his last fight. So he's coming in off of a loss, and then he just took another L to a good boxer. Like I said, Garcia, you showed tremendous heart. You showed that you had a chin too, because you was taking some flush shots and you was still walking through them. Which, another point that I want to make on that is that if he was able to take the power, those flush shots coming from Tony Harrison, I mean, I would think that you would just walk him down, even, wasn't moving his head at all either, just taking flush shots, man. But if you're able to walk through those shots like that, I mean, you should rough him up, man. Rough him up, make it a dog fight. You was doing too much. You was trying to box with the guy, and you it just wasn't working for you. So you got to go back to the drawing board, man, and, in your next fight, try to incorporate some of the things that you didn't do this fight to give yourself a higher success rate in your next one, But anyway, it was a tremendous fight, man. That's really all I got to say. Please like, share, and subscribe, and comment below what you guys think about the undercard, all right? As far as even the one under that, I would like to know what you guys thought about that whole entire card on Showtime. All right, love y'all. Peace.